What's up, Baijan? So I'm in Saudi right in Medina, and I'm going on Umrah, right? And so, for those of you who don't know, it's basically like an Islamic ritual. Okay, but I want to say this because I wanted to talk a little bit about spirituality, right? For me, it's from an Islamic standpoint. For you, it might be something different. But let me get this straight, okay? I don't want to talk about this as if think I know anything about it because I don't really, okay? Again, that's what I said about like being honest about the experiences and how much of something you've experienced. I'm saying that for my future self, so he's aware of my thoughts, what I thought back then, which is right now, and then what you might be relating to in the moment as well, which is basically that some of us, we might have our mind in check, we might have our bodies in check. Like, we go to the gym, we meditate for mental health benefits, and maybe for some of you that's spiritual. But I think a lot of our spirituality can be very, very weak sometimes. And mine is, and all I know basically is that, how do I say this? For me, I don't know how much I truly know about spirituality, if that makes any sense. Okay, I don't think I know anything there is to know at all yet. Like, I don't know how much I don't know, right? Like, let's say, for example, someone can gain 100% knowledge on spirituality. I don't even know where I am on the percentage. Even though I know I'm very low, I still don't know where I even am to begin with, right? And so that just tells you how little uh, on the spectrum I am when it comes to being spiritual and things. But you know, now that I'm here in Medina, I'm starting to slowly trying to learn more and more about Islam and learn about it in the right way, not in a way where there was some sort of authority that was uh, a part of my life telling me what to do and telling me that these are the right things to do rather than telling me in a manner that's more understanding, right? Because now I'm learning it for myself and trying to detach all the negative thoughts that I had around Islam, not because of necessarily Islam as a religion itself, but because of the people that might have been associated that were teaching me, or because of some things that I associated with it as a child, right? And now that I'm learning there's different interpretations and different ways people see things and all that stuff. So, but again, I don't know a whole lot. And so I'm basically just making this video as a way to say, like, I think a lot of us do need a degree of spirituality. And the reason I say that is like, why should I listen to you, Shay? You don't know much. You'd be completely and utterly right. But what I'm noticing when I'm getting more and more into it is that I feel as if I'm getting closer to. I want to say God, but I don't think I have the right to say that just yet. I want to say I'm becoming more spiritual in a sense that I don't feel as if I'm as alone as I think I am. If that makes sense, because there's like a whole loneliness epidemic back in the US, right? Or in Western societies, because one, people don't tend to be hanging out with friends a lot. There's a lot of, uh, you know, incels now within Western communities, but I think there's a better way to put that. It's more so, and it's not. I'm not doing that just to be nice. I'm doing it more so because I don't think it completely generalizes what it is that people are going through there. It's more so the lack of an ability to find someone who sees things the way they do, and that could be due to the fact that the values there have been kind of brought down to their knees in some sense, and kind of they're deteriorating, right? And so you have all these religions, you have all these values and things like that, and when they're being torn apart in the Western world, it's like it's kind of like tearing apart like a business contract, and it means that you yourself have to write the business contract. It's like, why wouldn't you just follow the business contract that is already set in stone, made with all the terms defined, everything set? All you got to do is like, you know, all you got to do is really just read, understand, and follow it. And so I'm slowly catching on to that, but in my own way. But yeah, I'm making this to say that I think a lot of the societies are not only lonely because of the lack of friendship, a lack of culture. I've talked about that. A lack of, how would you say it? A lack of romantic relationships that would last long and have some sort of, I guess, meaning or value to them. And that's very vague, like, because it's like, what do you, because then I have to define the terms of what value and meaning is. It's like, well, what I found as a valuable and a meaningful relationship is like, is this person willing to have kids? Is this person willing to, stick to values regardless of the fact that they are imperfect human beings, and that they might have the proclivity to get, how would I say this, tainted by temptations, right? I don't know if that was the right English, but basically falling into temptations, but they're still willing to, keep up the contract. And sometimes it feels like these temptations just work in our favor, and they look so nice and they're so great, but they're really not all that they're made out to be. Whether that be, for a big one for most people is casual sex and hookups. That's why I think the divorce rate is also so high. That's also why I think, now I'm not going to cite no studies or anything like that, and that's perfectly fine. But again, I talk about theorizing things. I talk about different concepts that I think so far make sense from my experience, right? And so again, that's just, I think that because of, wow, English, because there's so many casual hookups and stuff like that, I think it's like a lack of values. There's also a lot of loneliness. There's also a lot of divorce. It's like people can't stick together and stay with each other. And, every day passes and I'm just like, you know what? I think we might just need to look into God a little bit more, because the West is not somewhere I want to be in. I'm speechless. Like, I don't even know what to say. I don't want the West's ideologies to like invade my mind, but specific ones, I guess. And I mean, that's a whole nother topic for a whole nother time. But when I come here, I just see family. I see people being very, very respectful, especially here in Saudi, bro. They've got very, very respectful clothing. Like, people think sometimes that, actually, that's a whole different topic. I don't want to get into it. But yeah, basically, I know this video is a bit of a mess, but I'm just trying to say that, look, because of the fact that there is a level of spirituality here, I think that can actually, and this might just be like a hypothesis, I guess, in some, not really in technical terms, of course it's not, but I like to say more of a guess, more of an assumption. But I'd like to think that the more spiritual you'd get, the easier it is to fend off this level of temptation that we tend to be swarmed with when loneliness passes by us, or things such as that nature. Maybe even pain or any negative emotion for that matter, which over there they'll just prescribe you things for, because that's what Big Pharma profits off of. and you'll be chasing things that don't necessarily give you the pleasure that they thought you would. And I'm a great example of that, because that's a trap I've fallen into several times as well. So when it comes to either buying things, or when it comes to being in like a relationship or anything like that, like uh, or certain types of relationships and things like that, whether it be friendships, romantics, things such as that nature. So I think spirituality can help with that, and maybe it's also the fact that I'm living within the environment that helps. So yeah, I thought I'd just put my thoughts out there. Maybe you relate, maybe you don't. Let me know in the comments below, all right? But yeah, that's all I got for you. Peace. Take it easy.